What happens when hundreds of retired fighter jets are converted into expendable drones and positioned near one of the world's most sensitive geopolitical flashpoints? And how would defenses respond if they are launched in large numbers at once? Reports indicate that more than 500 obsolete aircraft may have been repurposed, with at least 200 already deployed near the Taiwan Strait, a corridor central to global trade and regional security. This video examines what this development reveals about China's evolving military strategy, what could change if these systems are used, and how this fits into a broader shift in modern warfare. The development centers on the transformation of the J-6 fighter jet, a Chinese-produced version of a 1950s Soviet design, into an unmanned platform designated as the J-6W. Once a core component of China's Air Force, the J-6 has long been retired from frontline service. According to a report by the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies, supported by satellite imagery and open-source intelligence, rows of these modified aircraft have been identified at 6 air bases across Fujian and Guangdong provinces. These locations are geographically significant because they are positioned close to the Taiwan Strait, reducing response times in any potential conflict scenario. The technical modification process involves removing onboard weapon systems and installing automated flight controls and navigation technology. This converts the aircraft into a form of unmanned aerial vehicle that is not designed for reuse. Unlike conventional drones that may return after a mission, these platforms are intended to function more like one-way strike systems. J. Michael Dahm, a former U.S. Naval Intelligence officer and the report's author, assessed that these drones would likely be deployed in large waves during the early phase of a military operation, targeting pre-programmed locations. To understand the strategic logic, it is necessary to consider the broader context of China-Taiwan relations. China views Taiwan as part of its territory, while Taiwan maintains a separate political system and asserts that its future should be determined by its population. This unresolved status has created a long-standing point of tension, with periodic increases in military activity around the Taiwan Strait. Over the past decade, China has expanded its military capabilities, including naval forces, missile systems, and air power, as part of a wider effort to increase its ability to project force in the region. The introduction of large numbers of expendable drones reflects a shift toward what is often described as asymmetric warfare. The central idea is to exploit the cost imbalance between offensive and defensive systems. Producing and deploying a converted drone is significantly less expensive than the interceptor missiles required to stop it. A Taiwanese security official indicated that defending against such attacks would likely require the use of high-cost missile systems, creating a situation where the defender incurs greater expense than the attacker. This dynamic can place sustained pressure on defensive resources over time. The concept of overwhelming air defenses is not new, but the scale and method are evolving. In a potential conflict scenario, these drones would not operate in isolation. Analysts expect them to be used alongside ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, advanced fighter aircraft, and long-range bombers. Each of these systems travels at different speeds, altitudes, and trajectories, creating a layered attack profile. Peter Layton, a former Australian Air Force officer, suggested that the objective would be to saturate defensive systems with multiple simultaneous threats, increasing the likelihood that some would penetrate. This approach has parallels in recent conflicts. The war in Ukraine has demonstrated how drones can be deployed in large numbers for reconnaissance, targeting, and direct attacks. These systems are relatively inexpensive and can be produced quickly, allowing for sustained use over extended periods. The adaptation of older aircraft into drones represents a further step in this evolution, combining the speed and payload capacity of traditional jets with the expendability of unmanned systems. If these drones are used in a conflict, one possible outcome is a rapid escalation in the intensity of initial engagements. A large-scale launch could force Taiwan to deploy significant portions of its air defense inventory within a short time frame. This could create vulnerabilities if defensive resources are depleted faster than they can be replenished. The immediate impact would be operational, affecting the ability to protect critical infrastructure and maintain airspace control. If, however, countermeasures are developed and deployed effectively, a different outcome could emerge. Taiwan has already indicated that it is accelerating efforts to acquire counter-drone technologies. These could include electronic warfare systems, directed energy weapons, or lower-cost interception methods designed specifically to address high-volume threats. In this scenario, the cost imbalance could be reduced, limiting the effectiveness of large-scale drone deployments. A third scenario involves deterrence without direct use. The presence of these drones near the Taiwan Strait could influence strategic calculations without being deployed in combat. By demonstrating the capability to launch large numbers of expendable strike platforms, China may aim to alter the risk assessment of potential adversaries. This could affect decision-making not only in Taiwan, but also among its partners, including the United States and regional allies. The geopolitical implications extend beyond the immediate region. The Taiwan Strait is a critical route for global trade, including a significant portion of semiconductor shipments. Any disruption could have cascading effects on global supply chains, affecting industries ranging from electronics to automotive manufacturing. The integration of new military technologies into this environment increases uncertainty and raises the stakes for all involved parties. What this development illustrates is a broader transformation in military strategy. Traditional measures of power, such as the number of advanced aircraft or ships, are being supplemented by the ability to deploy large quantities of lower-cost systems. This changes the balance between offense and defense, as well as the economic calculations underlying military planning. The key factor to watch is how quickly defensive technologies adapt to this shift. The effectiveness of large-scale drone deployments depends on the ability to overwhelm existing systems. If countermeasures evolve at a similar pace, the advantage may be temporary. If not, the balance could shift more decisively toward offensive capabilities. The situation remains dynamic, shaped by technological change, strategic competition, and political decisions. The deployment of converted aircraft as drones is one element within a larger framework of military modernization and regional tension. Its significance will ultimately depend on how it is integrated into broader operational plans and how other actors respond.